You're on.
Yeah. Welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop. I am KRS-ONE, and this is yet another session. I'm just taking some notes right now. We're letting others come in to the session real quick. Just bear with me. I'm just taking some notes real quick. Okay. This might be it for me. Okay. All right, let's get started, y'all. It is another session. Welcome to the Temple of Hip Hop. Indeed, I am KRS-ONE, and I am joined today by G. Simone, who is here to my right, and Minister Son One, who is behind this camera. Big up to everyone who joins us every Sunday for these types of lessons. And let me just start by saying that the Temple of Hip Hop is an authentic hip hop ministry, archive, school, and society. Actually, I should say we are an authentic hip hop preservation ministry, archive, school, and society. We also hold ourselves out as an international hip hop cultural center as well. And get used to these kinds of names and titles attached to the Temple of Hip Hop, because we're doing some big things back here, y'all. We're doing some really big things here, and you're not going to see them for about another year or so. Those who make their pilgrimage straight to the Temple of Hip Hop or to where we are having functions and so on, you can hear about some of the more deeper things going on with the Temple of Hip Hop. But let me just say that I am a witness that God is great. I am a witness that the ancestors are so with us right now. You don't have to worry about nothing that nobody else is saying about hip hop or want to do or this, that, and the other. Good luck to all of that. And everyone has to be guided by the Most High. So whatever ideas you have about hip hop, whatever projects, and I'm talking about these hip hop museums, and I'm talking about the courses at colleges, and it seems to be the in thing now to want to associate with hip hop on an academic level, and part of that is what we're going to be talking about today. Obviously, we're reading from the Gospel of Hip Hop, but I always start with a few updates as people come into the call. I usually start with a few updates just so you know what is actually going on. Now, a lot of stuff, I'm going to be honest, a lot of stuff I can't say right here because this is a public forum. But I will give you hints. And if you really want to know what time it is, you can always contact Minister Son One or G. Simone, and they can walk you through some of the background of what's going on. But let me shout out Mayor Ross J. Baraka from the city of Newark, New Jersey, and of course his chief of staff and brother, Amiri Baraka. Big up to them. Big up to Victor as well from the Housing Authority in Newark as well. Shout out to all of them. Moving over, I had a meeting with Rocky from the Universal Hip Hop Museum. We've been talking back and forth and so on. The Temple of Hip Hop has been in support of the Universal Hip Hop Museum. It's been a Rocky support. But nonetheless a support. Anything I criticize, I also lend my support to so that it can become better. You'll know that about me. I don't just criticize something. I see something disorganized, or if I see something, crazy, and you ask me my opinion about it, and I say, I think it's crazy. I think it's this and that. Right after saying that, I also have to lend my hand, lend my money, lend my name, lend my skill, lend something, because you don't just criticize without lending something to the criticism. And try to remember that as well. Don't be so quick to criticize without also volunteering your help. So I am critical of the Universal Hip Hop Museum, always have been critical of the creation of that museum. But nonetheless, I participate because that criticism, if you're going to criticize, you have to be willing to do the work against your own criticism. You have to be able to fix your own critique of whatever it is you are critiquing. So we're there. Met with Rocky. Excellent. They had a nice Revolution of Hip Hop exhibit there in the Bronx. I'm scrambling for the location in my mind, but it was right there in the Bronx. Revolution of Hip Hop. Big up to my man Pop Master Fables, as well, longtime revolutionary frontlinesman, no doubt, with the struggle to preserve hip hop in that sense. And of course, the Temple of Hip Hop has his documented work and evidence. He's over there at the Revolution of Hip Hop exhibit. Nice exhibit. Excellent exhibit. They laying out the early history and they're going years to years. So it's 1980 to 85 is what they're dealing with now. That's only going to be up for another month or two, or maybe even just another month. And now they're going to do 85 to 90, or maybe 86 to 91. They're just going in chunks of 5. And that's going to come up on our area. Oh, okay. Someone is just telling me it's at Bronx Point, 575 Exterior Street. No, that's the Hip Hop Museum.
Well, it's right.
Well, it's across the street. Okay. So no, let me read that one more time. Someone has handed me the address to the Universal Hip Hop Museum. What is proposed to be built? They're building a museum in the Bronx, and the place is called Bronx Point. That's the area, and it's 575 Exterior Street. 575 Exterior Street. Bronx Point. That's where cranes and dirt and all type of stuff is going on over there. They're building this building from scratch, Universal Hip Hop Museum. Now, I'll get into that a little deeper with you so you can have some more information. But across the street is this Revolution of Hip Hop, a smaller pop-up exhibit, the Revolution of Hip Hop. Nice little exhibit. If you have time to run to the Bronx, I suggest you go over there and see that. Nice little scholarship as well. And then, of course, Pop Master Fables is there. So you're dealing with breaking and seeing graffiti art and DJing, not just rappers or DJs. There's that too. That's there plastered on the wall as well. But you also get the origin of Fat Laces and certain graffiti murals, and honor is given there as well. Of course, B-Boys, Pop Master Fables, and so on. Nice exhibit. We went over there and saw it. Now, what I want to say about the Universal Hip Hop Museum, though, is that, so we got to talking, so just so you know, I serve as the educational director of the museum itself. My title is unofficial. It was official back in the days, and I didn't like how the museum was going down. They didn't like my ideas, and we both drifted apart, which we come back together now in sense, and rightfully so, because you got to put ego aside. You got to put old stuff aside if it's about hip hop. If it's about you, then you can hold grudges. If it's about you, then you can hold resentment. And to be honest with you, I'm going to give you an example. This, I'm very critical of the Universal Hip Hop Museum. I don't like a lot of what's going on over there. Okay, that's what that is. And like I said, but if you're going to be critical, you have to join it. So, educational director, that's me, and I offer that service. But I am loyal to the Temple of Hip Hop, and although I can't speak freely here in this public forum, just know that the Temple of Hip Hop is ahead of all of this. All of this. It's going to be so shocking when we reveal the future to you. It's going to just brace yourself. But I say this to say that the Universal Hip Hop Museum being built up, okay, the model of it is a museum on the bottom, with some businesses and stores, and affordable housing on top. This is the model that's going around the country, at least on the East Coast. I'm seeing this model 2 or 3 places. Restaurant and businesses on the ground floor, affordable housing on the top floor. There obviously is infrastructure money coming from the federal government. Investors are pouring in money as well. Cities are coming up. And this brings us to our long-term vision of a hip-hop city. And of course, we look at the museums and even our own temple, and others, what others are doing, even preparing for the 50th anniversary of hip-hop as well in 2023. We look at all of that, but we stay focused upon what we are doing as well. And this is where the idea of hip-hop, our own space, comes in. This is uniquely a Temple of Hip Hop idea. I know others have embraced it and so on, but this is officially we're the first to come up with this idea that says hip hop needs its own space. It needs its own land. We need a little place called Lil Hip Hop or Hip Hopia or the city of hip hop. Like we need our own little space. So just know that the Temple of Hip Hop, we are talking behind the scenes to government officials to achieve that goal. We're not chummy and rubbing up with government officials for some corrupt scheme. And I'm critical of them as well. We're doing the real work, and the real work real land, requires senators, governors, mayors, congressmen and women. It requires that. It requires their support. If you're serious, okay, if you're just dreaming, then you just go ahead and dream. But if you're serious about carving out a piece of land in the United States and having the federal government recognize it, state governments recognize it, have some money pour in, jobs to our people, safety and security for our families, you're going to have to talk to some senators. You're going to have to talk to some governors. You're going to have to talk to the local governance as well, council people, Congress people, so on. And teachers, firemen, police officers, all this type of stuff, if you want to settle into a community. So this is the work of the Temple of Hip Hop. And I'm giving you a plethora of information just so you know the direction in which we're going in. Others are doing museums and movie projects and stuff like that. We're working on land. And just so you know, we are so close to actually achieving that. We are very close to achieving that. And so we're moving forward. We're moving forward in that direction. So, having said all of that, let me just make a quick break before I start. Before I start with our reading today, let me say this, and you said do that. Yeah, now, no, yeah. Right. Let me shout out one other person before I start the read. Actually, let me shout out Senator Chuck Schumer. Let me shout out the majority leader of the Democratic Party, or the majority leader in the Senate, Senator Chuck Schumer. This is an interesting relationship we seem to have here with this particular senator, and I say that respectfully. Let me here fighting with my hair. Live on camera, yeah. I need a groom day, yeah. But when you running, you ain't got no time for nothing. Okay. Hey, that's funny. The cutest and the sexiest people, they ain't doing no work. It's the grimy dudes that ain't shaved, ain't got a haircut. Why? Because you running. And such is the truth. Such is the truth. shout out to Senator Chuck Schumer. And I shouted him out because we were hanging at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue this weekend, or last weekend, sorry. And it was a wonderful experience. Herc was there as well. Cool Herc was there. Cindy was there. I was there. Senator Chuck Schumer, Congressman Jamal Bowman. Who else was there? Vanessa Gibson. Let me get her name right. And also Ruben Diaz, the Bronx Borough president. Ruben Diaz, longtime supporter of the Temple of Hip Hop, longtime supporter of this entire movement. Ruben Diaz, the Bronx Borough president, he was there, and the incoming Bronx Borough president, Vanessa Gibson, she was also there, declared her hip hop loud. There, she gave a fiery speech about hip hop. But we were all there at 1520. There was some press on it. You look around the internet, you might find something, but it was on the low. It was on the low because there's still more work to do. So we got together to document the moment and document it in local news, as well as in our own archives. Of course, the Temple of Hip Hop had its cameras there. We documented everything. We actually got a chance to go inside the community center of 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. We moved up in the world because I was trying to get a relationship with the Tenants Association at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. Could never find them. You know, I when I come into town, it's always a crisscross, but we all sat down and met. At that moment. So we was in 1520. The Tenants Association is with us. I showed them my baby pictures. I showed them that I had baby pictures. We showed them a copy of Senator Schumer's proclamation 20 years ago to the Temple of Hip Hop, declaring Hip Hop Appreciation Week. Senator Schumer, it blew his mind. He kept pointing to it. We got it all on film. We'll show it at some point. He kept pointing to it, and it gave precedent. Because here we are giving a new resolution in 2021, resolution SR 335 now. Remember last time we talked about resolution S331 was the original that went in and became law, became codified. But then they went back, tweaked it a little bit, and that was S335. That's like, so almost like an amendment, but a finished version of the document. They all realize that the document is just a foundation and that it needs to be built up. I'm now the lead co-writer of that document, me and a gentleman named Leroy, who was announced as hip hop's historian by Chuck Schumer. It's light, okay? I say that respectfully, just in case Leroy wants to pick up the title and say, yeah, maybe I will study and become a hip hop historian. But he didn't even really want the title. Respectfully, Chuck Schumer just called him that because he's done so much work to get the bill passed through Chuck Schumer's office. Chuck Schumer called him a historian. But nonetheless, this is what's going on behind the scenes. And this is why we're getting these proclamations, these resolutions. We're shaking hands with powerful people who can make things happen. And let me let you know, they're making it happen. They're making it happen. And I say that with a smile on my face because this is where the Temple of Hip Hop becomes private as well. And this is where all societies become secret. Do I have to go here with you? We have a show in Detroit at the Masonic Temple in Detroit. Shout out to everybody in Detroit. Big up to all the Masons. But we did a show in a restored Masonic temple, and they're playing it up too. The Masonic temple part of it. Nice show. Me, I think there's some Slick Rick, Rakim, Kane. Is it Kane?
I don't remember seeing.
I don't remember. But a heavy hitters show coming to Detroit. Big up to Detroit. If you're listening to me, get your tickets early. That's going to be a straight savage show. I know I'm coming with loincloth and spear. And so that's Detroit. And Detroit's also a supporter of this as well. We have a proclamation from Detroit over 20 years ago. And that's the thing about proclamations. The earlier they are, the more powerful they are. It's called precedence. You're sitting on precedents, not just your word. No, show me some documentation. Get the senator on the phone, get the governor on the phone, get the mayor on the phone. If you can't do this, then we're not really talking about the preservation of a culture. We're talking about the preservation of one's own legacy in the culture. And that's cool too, if that's what you're about. So we all want to preserve our legacies within the culture. So there's no criticism on that. If that's what it's about, that's what it's about. But understand the difference, though. If it's about your own legacy, then you don't have to compromise and talk to people that you may have questions about. So if it's about your own legacy, you just keep your own legacy to yourself. But if it's about hip hop's legacy, if it's about the preservation of hip hop as culture outside of your specific legacy or heritage or career or so, if it's about hip hop, then you're going to have to talk to some people you might not even like. Hit that one. You're going to have to talk to people who don't like you. You're going to have to leave the emotion and the ego at the door, and that is the beginning of our lesson today. We're talking about character. We're talking about overstanding. Character and overstanding. Now, before I begin all the time, I give Son One a chance to say something. Is there anything that you need to say, Minister Son One, before I go into today's reading?
God is the greatest.
Of always.
Hip hop fan.
And that is always. Boom, bap. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here we are. Turn your Gospels now to page 172. That is 172, page 172. We're reading Perform Overstanding. And I'm also going to read Perform Truth. So it's Perform Overstanding and Perform Truth. We're going to go over those two today. And you'll see why as well. Remember how I start this lesson. Remember how I'm actually starting this lesson. I'm starting this lesson with character. The reason, and this is not about character, it's about wisdom and overstanding. That thing. But this is the seat of character. This right here is how we have to think about conducting ourselves in order to be a self-governing body. We're talking about sovereignty here. We're talking about true democracy, self-governance. Okay, that's what we're talking about. And you can't govern yourself if you lying to people, if you cheating people, if you're afraid, if you're doubtful, if you don't know who you are. Things like this. You can't lead, you can't govern. So the idea is to begin to clean that from, and we all have it. We all have it. This is why we bring in this lesson. Fears, doubts, insecurities, anxieties. These are the things that throw movements into the garbage. These are the things that prevent the development of new nations and new civilizations. It's not technology. It's not even money. It's about, are you a trustworthy person? It's about, do I respect you? This is what's moving in politics and in the socio-political world and in the world of finance. This is what's moving. Can I trust you? I believe in you. Are you really who you say you are? Are you authentic? So we're reading now about how to achieve these states of character. I'm on page 172, starting to read. This is the 10th the 10th principle of the divine performance. This is the 10th one. Perform overstanding. In all things, seek the deeper meaning. Truly seek to know the pain, joy, needs, and wants of those who you may come in contact with. Cultivate your mind to truly overstand the situations and circumstances of others. And you know what I want to do real quick just before I do that? Son, when you see my computer right there, my silver one, it's just right around this corner. You see it? Yeah, grab that real quick. Let me just because what I want to do is pull up. Thank you, my G. I'm gonna pull up some notes here because this this particular lesson is an advanced lesson because this part about overstanding, since the gospel has been published, and it was published in 2009. Since the gospel has been published in 2009, we have gone beyond it in terms of our writing. We have actually began working on a second instrument. This one here is the first instrument. You see that at the bottom, first instrument down here. We were working on a second instrument, and it's basically an expanded version of the first instrument. At least that was the concept back in the day. Let me just pull up real quick some of these words. I can't show you I should have a PowerPoint, and hook this whole thing up so I could show you the Oxford English Dictionary. And soon we'll get back to those studies as well. Those who have been with us from the early days, I usually pull up the books in which we study from. But what's happening here is that I have my own little deal right here. And so I'm going to read the Oxford English definition to some of these words that I'm bringing up right here. As well, I'm just pulling this up right now. The word I'm pulling up in the Oxford English Dictionary is called overstand. Okay, overstand, because that's what we're reading today. Perform overstanding. And what I want to do is read the Oxford English Dictionary definition of what it means to overstand. This word overstand is cultural as well. Some people believe that it comes out of the Rastafarian tradition, to overstand. You hear Rastas saying it, but many Jamaicans in particular are trained by Britain. They're British trained, and that's why that's where they may have gotten the word to overstand something. In that sense, they're trained by Britain. To overstand is a British term. In that sense, here's to overstand out the Oxford English Dictionary. Now get this: to overstand first means to stand over or to stand beside. Okay, to stand over or to stand beside. Okay, that's the first definition of to overstand. So when you overstand something, you stand over it. And when you overstand something, you can also stand beside it. Son one overstands KRS-ONE because he stands beside. And of course, I understand Son one, and we understand G. Simone. And G. Simone understands. I was saying, because we are standing beside one another. As a temple, we overstand each other. The titles of our lessons are called overstandings. First overstanding, second overstanding, third overstanding, for these reasons as well. To overstand is to stand over and to stand beside. The gospel of hip hop teaches overstandings because it stands beside you. It also stands over you. This is the guidance. This is the cloud, the light, the sunlight that is over our conduct. These overstandings stand over us. We limit ourselves and discipline ourselves to the gospel of hip hop because this conduct is a winning conduct. It's a winning conduct. This is the conduct of kings. This is the conduct of queens, and I say that respectfully. This is the conduct of kandakes and nekas. This is the conduct of the sage, the philosopher king. This is what that is. So to overstand, now to get that, this is Oxford English I'm coming with first. To overstand is to stand over or to stand beside. Now, here's the second definition of overstand. To overstand, second definition, to stand, endure, or stay to the end of, to get through, to outstay, to overstay. Let's read that one more time. This is the second definition of what it means to overstand. It means to stand. To overstand means to stand. To overstand means to endure. Oh, you're going to hear it today. You're going to hear it today. To endure. Or to stay to the end. See, I read these lessons, but do you really overstand them? Some people jump on and jump off the call. You don't stay to the end. Let's get it. To stand, to endure, to stay to the end of. Quote right now. To stay to the end of. This is what it means to overstand, at least from a literal point of view. It means to get through. To overstand means to get through. To overstand means to outstay or to overstay. So everything with overstand is endurance, get through, see it to the end, stay to the end. That's a strong word, overstand. The first definition, to stand over or to stand beside. The second definition, to stand, to endure, to stay to the end of, to get through, to outstay, and to overstay. This is overstay. Now we return to the gospel of hip hop. I'll read the first part again real quick. Perform overstanding in all things, seek the deeper meaning. Truly seek to know the pain, joy, needs, and wants of those who you may come in contact with. Cultivate your mind to truly overstand the situations and circumstances of others. Now, if you see here, it says to overstand the circumstance, the situation, to stand over those situations, to stand beside those. Sometimes you have to, you're going to have discernment. And that's what we're talking about here. Wisdom, discernment, making the right choices. Well, this is overstanding. Sometimes you're going to have to stand over the situation of others. Sometimes you're going to have to stand beside the situation with others. Sometimes you're just going to have to stand for something. Sometimes you're going to have to endure and stay to the end of something. This is what it means. Or stay to the end of the circumstance. To endure the circumstance. Cultivate your mind to truly overstand the situations and circumstances of others. Not just understand them or comprehend them, but stand beside, stand over, endure, get through. Even just for a moment, join them in their life experiences. And that's obviously what that next line is. Even just for a moment, join them in their life experience. That's to overstand. Stand beside your brothers and sisters in their life experience. Know this, to understand is to comprehend whatever you have been taught. However, to overstand is to experience whatever you have been taught. Now let's highlight this piece right here, because that's an explanation. That's an explanation right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and highlight the whole of number one, the whole paragraph of number one, paragraph one. Let me hit you with it again. Even just for a moment, join them in their life experience. Stand beside, be strong enough to endure other people's pains and problems and challenges. Imagine that. Even just for a moment, join them in their life experience. Know this, and this is the highlight, the ultimate part of the highlight. To understand is to comprehend whatever you have been taught. However, to overstand is to experience whatever you have been taught. Such is the essence of wisdom and spiritual leadership. That's a highlight, all of that. At all times, perform overstanding. Seek to know through experience your own views as well as the views of others. Never settle for simply being educated. For with spiritual overstanding comes discernment, and with discernment comes agreement, resolution, conclusion, and solutions. Now take a look at what we're looking for as a temple. And remember, this was written many years before 2009. For with spiritual overstanding comes discernment. With discernment comes agreement, resolution, conclusion, and solutions. These words we're putting into the atmosphere is what's coming back to us. Look at the word agreement. This is what we are working for hip hop to agree. It don't have to be all, oh yeah, this is academically correct. No, nothing really is until we agree. We just picked up resolutions. This is what we're speaking into the atmosphere. Okay, with overstanding comes discernment, and with discernment comes agreement, resolution. We just passed S335. It is a resolution. And I'm saying this to you in this way, for those that have ears to hear it, hear it. You know, we're not just talking. You know, this is divine speech. This is a responsibility. This is a condition of those who actually walk the path. So if you actually walk the path, you'll notice that the words you speak are the words you're going to see. You know, we taught this lesson in Streetlight. Those who haven't seen Streetlight, go back and see it. Or I'm sorry, those who have seen it as well. Whether you've seen it and don't see it, go see Streetlight so you can brush up on this particular lesson. Okay, brush up on this particular lesson. Your words have power if you walk in the path. If you ain't walking the path, the words have no power. That's what they don't want to tell. People don't want to, they don't want to hear that part. You know, but let me be real with you. Real with you. Okay, I'm 40 years on the path. Really, over 40 years on this particular path. I started very young, and I tell you straight up, everybody ain't getting it. Everybody ain't getting it. You got to walk the path, and when you walk the path and align yourself with that truth, then what you say comes to you. So you ain't preaching hate. You ain't preaching gossip and scandal and tearing other people's names down. And no, sorry. That's not what you're doing. What you're doing is you're lifting people up. You're lifting name up. You're speaking productively because this is what you want onto your life. Why do you want a problem in your life? Like, why would you want that? So stop speaking problems. You know, discipline yourself to stop speaking or seeing things as problems. If you're walking the path, then you can, you know, if you're in a traffic jam, you know you got to be somewhere, and you're in a traffic jam. Don't get upset. You're being divinely guided. It's those little things. And I give you that because everyone who teaches spiritual knowledge, you know about these lessons, we don't practice them in real life. We get anxious when we don't get our way. We get anxiety when we can't see our, you know. No, you got to really practice this stuff. And when you really walk the path, you begin to see your words in the environment. Here we are now seeing our words, agreements. We signed agreements, y'all. Okay, just so you know. Agreements, resolutions, conclusions. We're coming to that too. And of course, solutions. I'm reading on. Paragraph 3, page 173. While knowledge makes you aware of things, overstanding makes you aware of the character and nature of things. For it is not enough to know whatever you know. You must also experience the things that you know in order to truly know them and correctly apply them. More than just knowing something, it is far better to experience whatever you know. This is the essence of wisdom and true leadership. Overstanding proves the validity of one's acquired knowledge. Know this: just because you have been educated does not mean that your education is truly productive to your real life. Theories must be tested and facts change all of the time. The true hip-hopper does not just read the gospel of hip-hop. She performs the overstandings of this gospel and proves to herself the value of this gospel in real life. The teacher must know for sure that the gospel of hip-hop truly works in real life before she can seek the teaching to others. The teacher must be certain of the trueness and authenticity of the gospel of hip-hop. Such certainty is found in the heart. The trueness of this gospel is determined by its compatibility with your heart. And you know what? I'm going to finish this up, but I'm going to highlight something right here, because this is also how you articulate the gospel of hip-hop to others. The teacher must be certain of the trueness and authenticity of the gospel of hip-hop. Such certainty is found in the heart. The trueness of this gospel is determined by its compatibility with your heart. Does this path feel right to you? You cannot teach this gospel if you are uncertain of its overstandings, if you are still in doubt. Now let's go get this. We're going to highlight, you know what, did the air go off? It feels like it did for a minute. You know what, just go ahead and just adjust it, man. Drop that down to 60. And just so you know, y'all, by the way, I'm in Miami, Florida right now. I'm hanging out with Desire. What up, Desire? Yeah. We actually going to go check out the graffiti museum after this call. There's a graffiti museum. And just to show you the work of the temple for many years, this graffiti museum has been opened by Brimstone. Shout out to Brimstone. Old school temple member from way back, Brimstone. But someone else who has heard many of these lessons as well, even before the gospel was written. We were running around with Brimstone here in Miami, Florida, doing temple work. As a matter of fact, DJ Khaled had a thing called The Temple, and was inspired by the Temple of Hip Hop on that. He had his thing called The Temple, him and Sean Paul, the reggae singer Sean Paul. I did one of his first records right here in Miami, Florida, right here. And so now we flowered up years later, and Brimstone is presenting a graffiti exhibition. I'm going to go check it out while I'm here in Miami, Florida. Desire One is taking me over there, and we're going to go check that out and see what that is. Big up to Miami. But I need the AC, though. So the AC is hot here, no doubt. And I hope you guys are not hearing this, because this AC is loud. This thing is blowing gushes of air out. We're hearing like 90 to 100 degree weather, 90 degree weather. I'm overlooking Miami right now. I wish I could show it to you, but it's beautiful out here. Miami, Florida is crazy out here. So shout out to Miami. That's where I am right now. Right. So what we're going to do is highlight
the last sentence of 4.
Of 5.
No, the last sentence of 4 into 5. And that's the whole. No.
No, just 5.
Okay.
I'll grab 5. I saw what you saw. I saw what you saw. No, let's highlight only 5, the paragraph 5, because that kind of sums it up. Look, you have the whole book.
Yes.
If you want to highlight, or if you want to highlight, anything, I mean, do your own studies. But obviously, the highlights that we're putting in here is what you will be tested on at the end of this course. Let me read 5 again. The teacher must know for sure. Oh, and let me also say this. You'll notice that within this reading, the universal person is referred to as she. And that's part of our writing style as well. If you refer to yourself, you can refer to she or he. But if you're referring to a vague person, where it could be, anybody, just any, the one who, did this and that. Often we use both she and he as well. Western English, the English language, is sexist, so it tends to say that the universal human being is a man, or the universal human being is a he and a him. So we're reversing that psychology. And matter of fact, we're throwing that whole thing out of our mind. We're not even reversing it. We don't have no time for that. The sexism in language. So you'll notice within the gospel of hip hop, often the universal person is she. Because you'll notice that we can't be nothing without our mother. I don't know how men get to be the universal person. The universal person is a woman, basically. The feminine is the universal person. So we look at the she, or sometimes we say the she as the universal. So just know that within your scholarship, within reading this, and sometimes you see he, sometimes you see she. Why is that? Because we're combating sexism. The teacher must know for sure that the gospel of hip hop truly works in real life before she can seek to teach it to others. That is so important. You got to know that this is real before you can seek to just go ahead and teach it. Where's your experience that you bring to the lesson that's being taught? The teacher must be certain of the trueness and authenticity of the gospel of hip hop. That means you've experienced it. There's no doubt in your mind, like in my mind. There is no doubt in my mind. Especially after the week I just had. Okay, after the week I just had? No, there is no doubt in my mind that the principles we have all laid down in this book work. So the teacher got to be certain. So the teacher must be certain that the trueness and authenticity of the gospel, of hip hop, such certainty is found in the heart. You got to believe. You can't just mind this, read this, memorize this. You got to feel this. That's where the power is going to come from. You got to feel the trueness of this gospel. That's why you have to debate nobody over no gospel. The trueness of this gospel is determined by its compatibility with your heart. Again, the trueness of this gospel is determined by its compatibility with your heart. If this ain't compatible with you, put the book down, turn this whole thing off, and go find a life that really works. There's no reason for you to listen to me just because of my rap celebrity status. There's no reason for that. You're wasting your time. What I'm showing you is how I got that rap status. What I'm showing you is how I live hip hop from day to day and the beautiful, wonderful time I am having with it. I'm a free man, free black man too, okay? I'm a free man, y'all. And you got to realize this. A lot of times you don't get to see free people. We're so used to looking at slaves. We don't even know what a free person look like. Well, I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to take a look at a free person. Here we go. Take a look at the face of free. There ain't nothing behind me but a curtain. Okay? There's no corporation, ain't no white man, ain't no black man. No, if anything, it's a black woman, my wife and my daughter, if any. And they're not behind me. These chicks is in the front. I got to put leashes on them, pull them back. Okay, they out in the front, leading. So get the character. Get the character of the free man. And I say that with a smirk on my face. Because a lot of dudes chase the money. In the 90s, y'all remember? Come on, we don't want to talk about it now. See, we don't want to talk about, remember the crystal? Remember the alligator shoes? Remember all that? Well, in the 90s, all through the 90s, I was screaming, love's gonna get, damn. I was trying to say, they said it. Now I'm not gonna sit here and say, I told you so. But students, apprentices, not everybody. I'm not criticizing nobody. Only those who want to learn this lesson. I got to bring it to you like this. Because this is not about reading something. This is about experiencing something and then teaching from the experience that you know to be true. You know it to be true. Straight up and down. And that's what you're getting right now. This is what it means to overstand. To stand next to something. To go through the fire. Go through the slander, the criticism, the disrespect. Go through all that. Why? Because you're dealing with a higher truth. And what is that higher truth? That higher truth is these clowns are going to find, they're going to realize who they are and come right back around and apologize. Do you realize how many times a day I get an apology? People mouth off. All you hear is the mouth. You don't hear the apology. After the mouth. You don't hear the humbleness. Dudes all on the internet. Yeah, man, the KRS and yeah. Now KRS shows up. And it's Chris. Yeah. Now it's that. Well, see, this is how the man of God moves. This is how the free man moves. I know you dissing me, but I know you're immature, so I already forgave you. We went through that lesson. That was a few weeks back. Forgiveness. I already practiced it. Why? I'm protecting my own heart. I'm protecting my own reputation. I'm not going to say stupid stuff that I got to regret later because this dude brought it out of me. Nah. I used to do that. I used to do that back in the days. I used to punch dudes in their face when they say my name wrong. Straight up and down. You get knocked out, okay? That's it. But then the gospel. You going to be true to that or you going to be true to this? Okay? So I made it in my mind, I'm going to be true to this. I'm going to be true to this. Now dudes can diss. Now they feel they can get online, diss. Sometimes I'll be just rubbing the Glock. I just be rubbing it. I just feel like, damn, we used to be friends. We used to go everywhere together. You ain't mouthed off in a while. Anyway, let's get back to our reading. What I'm trying to express to you here is character. The character of a free man and woman. The character of a free person. And why it is important to curb your emotions, to overstand situations, to link, broaden your awareness to be able to understand somebody else's situation. That's overstanding. It's not about you all the time. Sometimes it is about the other person, and you got to have a spirit large enough to accept that. If you can't change your view, you're not growing. Period. If you can't change your views, you're not growing. And that's a tough one because you're not supposed to change all your views. But if you can't change your view, you're stagnant. You're stagnant. That's why you got to know for certain what works and what doesn't work. And that's what we discuss in here today. So we've outlined paragraph 5. Okay, we've outlined paragraph 5. You cannot teach this gospel if you are uncertain of its understandings, if you are still in doubt. You can't even teach this because you have no experience with it. Moving on. Know this, the teacher argues on behalf of the gospel of hip hop, not for the sake of winning, but for the sake of offering others the possibility of experiencing health, love, awareness, and wealth. He, notice how that changed, he argues only from experience and for the sake of reaching harmonious agreements between parties of conflicting opinions. That's the only reason you argue. You don't put no emotion into an argument. You only try to prove a point or make a person see your point. There's no reason to get angry, to add that extra thing on top of it just to get your point across. Manage yourself. Manage yourself. You know, you don't have to have so much salt and pepper on your ideas. You have to be so much hot sauce on what you're putting out. You know, put that to the side and just try to make the other person understand what you're saying. Not diss the other person because they don't understand what you're saying or don't agree. You must always seek, this is paragraph 7. You must always seek to understand the things that you know and always seek to experience the understandings of this gospel. Live by the productive experiences of your life. Learn to repeat the actions of your own success. Learn from the mistakes as well as from the achievements made by your actions as well as the actions of others. Discipline is the result of wisdom and overstanding. Applied wisdom is overstanding. A hip-hopper's wisdom is manifested in that hip-hopper's life. It proves that he truly overstands. More than just talking about what they have experienced, you can see the result of a hip-hopper's wisdom by the effects in and of that hip-hopper's life. Joy is an effect of overstanding. Peace is an effect of overstanding. Mercy, compassion, justice, patience are all effects of overstanding. However, you can be wise and not experience any of these virtues. Did you hear that? You could be wise and not experience any of these virtues. Be guided. Wisdom and knowledge are two different things. Wisdom can be achieved through life experiences, while knowledge can be acquired through educational, intellectual studies. But to overstand is to have experienced them both. To overstand is to act upon what you know and have experienced. Again, to overstand is to act upon what you know and have experienced. Let's go ahead and highlight that. Only that sentence. Only that sentence. To overstand is to act upon what you know and have experienced. Knowledge proves that you know some things. Wisdom proves that you have experienced some things. But overstanding proves that you are active in both your knowledge and wisdom of things. You're standing next to, you're standing over, you're getting through, you're enduring it. See, knowledge doesn't have to endure anything. And neither does wisdom. These are techniques to get through something. But while you're going through, there's another understanding that's happening while you're going through. It's not wisdom or knowledge. It's this experience. Again, knowledge proves that you know some things. Wisdom proves that you have experienced some things. But overstanding proves that you are active in both your knowledge and wisdom of things. For it is the guidance of our God that adds valuable experiences to our knowledge. Such experiences create wisdom. But even the wise are not always motivated to act. They have experienced, yet they are not always experiencing. Did you get it? The wise People who are wise, they are experienced. They have experience, but they are not experiencing. Everything with them is the past. Their whole idea of knowledge and wisdom and understanding is based on what they learned with an ED. There's no up-to-date, instant knowledge. I get this right now. The way nature teaches. If you walk outside and it's 90 degrees outside, you got that knowledge today. Okay, that knowledge came today. It could have been 80 degrees yesterday. It probably was 80 degrees yesterday. It may have been 75 degrees with rain the day before that. And maybe it was 90 degrees the day before that. That's knowledge. Knowledge is that it was 90 degrees 4 days ago, 75 with rain 3 days ago, 80 degrees 2 days ago, 85 degrees yesterday, and today it's 95 degrees. That's knowledge. That's all knowledge and memory and books and all. That's what that is. But when did you learn instantly? Like, I know it was 80 degrees yesterday, and so on. We're talking like about history. We know what it was then, but today it is 99 degrees today. You're learning that now. 80 degrees yesterday don't matter. It's knowledge. But what you're learning right now is 99 is on your back right now. 99 is on your back, and you're learning. You're getting burnt by it. That's a knowledge. Okay, you're getting that right now. Okay, that's overstanding. Can you learn instantly? Can you learn by standing next to something going on? Can you learn by looking over it, down upon it? Can you learn by enduring an experience? You learn through the endurance, not just what you know of the experience, or even what you know of the experience and how you've experienced it. You know that too. But what happens when the experience is on you right up to the moment you're having the experience? Can you learn while having the experience? That's called enlightenment. Because to do that, you have to put your emotions aside and be broad enough to take in something new and unknown. You didn't get this before. You don't know this. It never was 99 degrees before. Now you outside and you roast it. But now you have knowledge of what 99 degrees is. And you would have never got it if you relied upon yesterday's knowledge of 80 degrees. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is overstanding. Read that last line again. But even the wise are not always motivated to act. They have experience, but they are not always experiencing. Know this, wisdom is not righteousness. This is the next piece now. Wisdom is not righteousness. In fact, to be wise, one must go through some very unrighteous situations. Again, wisdom is not righteousness. In fact, in order to be wise, you got to be criminal-minded. You got to go through some crazy, okay, and develop, learn through the experience. This is what gives you wisdom. One must experience things that can only be experienced in failure, fear, and ignorance. If you can't, Jamaicans always say, you want me to forget ignorant? You want me to forget ignorant? That's what I'm just going to wall out right now, okay? But look at this. It can only be experienced. There's certain bits of knowledge. There's certain kinds of knowing that can only come through fear. There's a certain kind of knowing that can only come through failure. See, all success. That teaches one thing. but failure teaches too. And you need the lessons of failure to maintain the lessons of success. So don't be afraid to fail. Look at the lesson in it, add it to yourself, and move on. Don't be afraid to be afraid. Don't be afraid of fear. You can learn something in that while you shivering right there. Give yourself a moment to say, wow, let me really analyze this. It'll take the fear away too, because it's not you that's afraid. It's the fear that is afraid in you. It's like when you eat, you know, you're not what you're eating, although they say you are what you eat. That's a different level. But you're not actually the burger going into your mouth. You're not the fish going, you're not the salad, you're not that, but you took it in. And you don't have any emotion about it. Now, your body may have some emotional reaction to it. Maybe you throw it up, whatever, pimples, who knows? The body has all kinds of reactions. But why can't you do the same with information? You eat it, or situations. You eat it to learn from it, like a bitter herb. I just ate it. It's nasty. I know my body needed it. Bitter situation. I got no money. Damn, my family is crazy. Yo, who am I living with? This chick, this dude. What's going on? No, back up. If you're on the path, whatever is happening to you is for your good. That's the truth. It's for your good. You may say, how can this be for my good? Blah, blah, and blah, blah, and blee, blee, and blue, blue, and all this is going on around me. Now switch your mentality then. Are you going to be spiritual? Or are you going to be carnal? Are you going to be in the world? Or are you going to be in heaven? You're going to have to make discernment. You're going to have to make a decision here. And that's why I say those who have made the decision, these are the ones these are the ones who are strengthened by this type of knowledge. One must experience things that can only be experienced in failure, fear, and ignorance. And after one has learned from such fearful and ignorant experiences, one then becomes wise. For when knowledge is backed by experience and the hip-hopper can skillfully apply them both while performing life, that hip-hopper is said to be overstood. For it has been said that the experience gathered from books is of the nature of learning. The experience gained from actual life is of the nature of wisdom, and a small store of the latter is worth vastly more than any stock of the former. End quote. That was Samuel Smiles, a book called Self-Help, New York, American Book Company, 1904. And it ends, this overstanding ends with perform overstanding. We're going to take a short break right now, and just a short break. I don't think I'm going to go anywhere. Okay. Just take the. Actually, I should turn on some music or something. But no, we'll just take a short break. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm just not going to talk. Take a short break. Just a minute or so, because we're going to go to our next overstanding. Next overstanding, which is perform truth. I'm on page 175. Let's just take a short break right now. That was perform overstanding that we just got to, and I hope you got that. No. I'm just going to take that quick break. We were deciding whether we're going to take for the video, but what I'm going to do is take my shoes off. That's what I'm going to do. Put a cartoon on. Okay, hold up. Let me get this together over here. while we take this break as well, let me also just say that Time Journey, director Time Journey, is putting out a short 25-minute film called Save the Studio. And obviously I'm in it along with others. And it's about a guy losing his studio and needs songs from a rapper or anybody as collateral to save his studio. So obviously we get in there and start blazing mic. But it's a film coming out no later than October 11th or October 10th. And obviously I'm going to drop a new single called Crazy. I'm going to drop that. Big up also to Slick Rick on another level. I got another record called Knock 'Em Out. And Slick Rick did the chorus. Knock 'em out the box, Chris. Out the box, Chris. Knock 'em out the box, Chris. Sick record. Produced by SIMONE too, by the way. That's getting ready to come out. Blaze the world with that. But all of this is in the movie. And that's also coming out. All right, we're going to come to the end of our break now. And what I'm setting up over here is some more Oxford English Dictionary definitions. And what we're doing is we're now talking about, we're back, y'all. Okay. Should I jump up and say something, some kind of something? Yeah, we back in the session, learning all the lessons. This is what it is, all facts and no guessing. Back with the lesson. Let me read you. So this is the Oxford English Dictionary. This is the Oxford English Dictionary again. And I'm usually, like I said, I would have my PowerPoint going, but I'm in Miami in a hotel, and the AC is blasting. Okay, so truth. We're talking about truth. And what's interesting is that we were at the Temple of Hip Hop in Atlanta. We did a whole piece on truth, actually. Nice piece on truth and what that really was. You should go back and listen for that. I'm actually thinking back because we should probably have had, numbers to these, go back to lesson 335. We will. We are going to have to do. We're in the process of doing that anyway. But I'm thinking now because I need that process now. Right. We did a lesson on truth. So those that want to get a even deeper version of what it is we're talking here, I'm trying to bring you to that lesson, but I can't even tell you where it is. Go back and watch them all until you find it. But I'm reading here from Truth, and just to give you a little etymology on the word truth, a little etymology, the history of the word, how the word comes up and forms. The word truth is an Old English word that relates to faith, good faith, which is actually truce, Truce, to truce. This is all connected to faith. Faith, good faith. This is what truth was in English. Okay, now remember, I got to give you a little bit of the history of colonialism here and imperialism, because what we're reading here, when we read the Oxford English Dictionary and we read these meanings, we're reading colonial meanings and colonial definitions. We're reading how colonists see their world. This is not about how the world is or how our ancestors saw their world. This is how colonists saw their world. This is the function. This is how their society functioned up. So this is still useful knowledge to know how Western society formed itself, how it justified itself. And so when you look at the word truth, okay, truth. When you look at the word truth, you see that for Western society, for the English and for Europeans, truth begins with faith and having a good faith in a person. That if you were faithful, meaning that you were loyal, that began the truth. Two people loyal to each other, willing to stand on some belief, formed a truth. I'm just reading through. These are the other Old English words pertaining to truth. Truce, truce, which is related to good faith and faith. And then troth, troth, troth. And let me just go real quick to troth. And I'll come back to truth real quick. Because troth, if I recall correctly, troth had to do with trust. And I just want to make sure of that. Remember that what I'm reading to you, and I'm going slow because some of us are taking notes on this as well. And as you take the notes, I'm running through my situation here. But keep in mind that, again, this is the psychology of Western civilization and how they justified themselves and their actions. This is what truth was for them. Here's the word troth. I just pulled up troth, right? And troth too, faithfulness, good faith, loyalty, honesty. And then here it says truth, equal sign says truth. So again, what is troth? Faithfulness, good faith, loyalty, honesty. And it gives you, it says that it equals truth. So truth, troth. These words are all related to truth. And when you look at what truth is in the Western paradigm, it is only a faith. It is only a belief. You would think the truth is something that's real. The truth is something that's real. And in many cases, it is. It's supposed to be. But when you really do the etymology on the word, and you go before the 13th century, you begin to see how this imperialistic mind justified itself. Its truth was whatever they agreed with, whatever two or three of them came together and agreed upon, which is in their Bible too, which says God says, when two or more are present, when two or more agree, I am present. Okay, so this is what they're going with. If two or three of them agree, this is the truth. And everyone educated by them realizes the truth according to what two or three of them agreed upon to believe in. I read you the first definition of truth. Oh, actually, no, I didn't. I read you the etymology of it. Troth and truce, both meaning good faith, loyalty. And obviously loyalty to the king. This is when this was being written. The queen, loyalty to the queen. Loyalty to a lord. This is what's creating truth. Here's the definition of truth in the Oxford English Dictionary. The quality of being true. I'll get to what true is in a minute. The character of being or disposition to be true to a person, principle, cause, etc. True to a person, not true to yourself. The truth is the character of the character or disposition to be true to a person, principle, cause, etc. Faithfulness, fidelity, loyalty, constancy, steadfast allegiance. That's the truth. Take this in slowly. Take this in slowly. Because we talk about truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. What is the truth? It is the truth. The truth in the Oxford English Dictionary says that it is first and foremost fidelity, loyalty to a person is the truth. And in this instance, it's loyalty to the king, loyalty to the queen, loyalty to the Lord, loyalty to the bread ward or the meat mother, loyalty to these people, loyalty to government, basically, is the truth in the Oxford English Dictionary. I wish I could have brought it up for you, really, and showed you, but I'm reading directly from it right here. Now, it says, what is the truth? The quality of being true. Okay, now get this. The quality of being true. Let's go see what true is real quick. Okay, here is, I'm going to read you the definition of true. Here's the definition. It says, the truth is when you are true. Here's the definition of true in the Oxford English Dictionary. A faithful, loyal, or trusty person. A true man. Now, just under that definition, it says, and this is probably where it came from, where all this is coming from. Just under this faithful, loyal, or truly a trusty person definition, it says specifically, nickname for a member of the Protestant or Whig party in the 17th century. True blue. This is where the word true blue comes from, or the phrase, okay? That which is true. This is the second definition of true. That which is true, which is only that which is faithful or loyal to a person. That which is true. Then it says truth, which is the same thing. And then it says reality. New word now. Reality. Okay? Now, I'm going to take you over to reality real quick. Okay? Because all of this is a circle around your mind, which is making you believe things that are not really true. And this is what is so important to the education of the hip-hop scholar, to have discernment. We're coming off of to overstand something. Discernment on that. You got to know what's true. You got to know what's true. You have no time to play around with other people's interpretation, trying to tell you what's true. Okay, here's reality. Here's the definition of reality in the same dictionary. The quality of being real or having an actual existence. So now, you're not even real unless you're loyal to the king. You're not real unless you are loyal to a governing body, to a government. The government has to recognize you in order for you to be real. And that's what we was talking about early on. This is the power of government. But check this out. The reason they're coming to hip hop is because hip hop has the same power. This is why they coming. Hip hop determines what is real based on our agreement of what we gonna believe. We create reality. Now, I'm not siding with this kind of reality. I'm only teaching it. Okay, this is some craziness. But you got to know what it is. If you live in a colonial society where everything is a lie, basically everything is a lie. It's turned upside down. The good is evil and the evil is good. That's where we live right now. So if you know that, and you know that everything is a lie, that means you can do anything. You don't live in truth. You don't live in a real civilization. You don't even really live in a real country. We just learned that with the whole COVID thing. We don't live in no United State. We don't live in the United States of America. No, that's been disproven already. So what is this? What exactly is the reality in which you're living? Because if you don't know that, you can't get out of it. And that's the plot of most of the people living. They're being told what their reality is. They can't make a reality for themselves. Hip hop proves that you can make a reality for yourself. We did it because we agreed that breaking is this, MCing is that, graffiti art is this, DJing is that, beatboxing is this, street fashion, language, knowledge, entrepreneurialism, that we agreed upon this and formed a reality. Now other governing bodies see the reality, see how strong it is. Some are coming to exploit, others are coming to help. How do we respond? We have to know real reality for ourselves. We have to know the truth for ourselves, not because somebody told it to us. So that's what we're studying here right now. What is reality? It's whatever you agree upon, at least in this Western paradigm. In this Western paradigm, it's whatever you agree upon. And hip hop took full advantage of that. Hip hop took full advantage of that. Here's hip hop. Whatever we say we are is what the whole society says we are. No schooling, no degrees, no nothing. It's just we have a community that whatever you are in that community, the world sees you as that in their world too. What a powerful culture this is. What a powerful, life-changing, life-saving culture this is. When I was with Senator Schumer and Kool Herc and the other congressmen and women, councilmen and women at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, when we were there, I brought up the fact that hip-hop should receive a Nobel Peace Prize itself. And then Chuck Schumer said we should hand it to her, and I agreed. Kool Herc should get a Nobel Peace Prize. It should go to hip-hop, but the one who will accept it for hip-hop should be Kool Herc. That day may come because our words are divine.
Or yourself.
Well, you'll suggest it to be me, but
no,
I
one or the other.
I could never suggest that. For me, it would be Kool Herc or hip hop in and of itself. But who knows? You know, we're literally recording my words right now. We're marking my words right now. What it is, and we may actually get there. But I mention that because hip hop has proven already now. Okay, hip hop has proven already now that it has control of reality. And so if you have control of reality, if you have a culture that has a creative reality with it, that you could be anything in it, anything, what problems do you really have? Think about that. What problems do you really have if you could create yourself to be anything you want? If you live in that kind of society, really, really, this is the society that the United States of America is. It's a society where there are no laws. There is only freedom. That's why we can't get justice. Black people can't get justice. Mexican people can't get justice. All type of Latino people can't get justice, actually. Really. This is why we can't get justice. Because it ain't about justice. It ain't about law. That's just a cute word to keep us somewhat organized. But we all know in the United States that you can pay the law. You can murder people. If you talk to the right person, you get off. This is where we live. So you don't just criticize it. Okay, spend 2 hours criticizing it. Oh, it's corrupt democracy. But after the 2 hour mark is up, now you got to deal with it. Now you got to live in this, whatever you just criticized it to be. And that's what this lesson is about. The truth. The truth. Not criticizing it. Give yourself 2 hours of criticism. But when the 2 hours is up, now you have to really deal with the situation you're in. And the situation you're in is that you don't live in a lawful society. You live in a lawless society. But there are advantages to that. And the advantage to a lawless society is that you could be anything you want because there's no rules. And hip hop took advantage of that. We were the victims. We were so much the victims of lawlessness, okay? Societal lawlessness, that we took advantage of it and created ourselves into a new nation. Because the laws that govern the creation of nations fell. The customs that make nations fell. So now hip hop is able to step up in a lawless situation and say, as long as we are together and unified, we create a reality. And that reality is our community. That community is our culture. That culture is our nation. And other nations are now recognizing hip hop as that because they themselves grew up in it now. We are creating reality. Not just culture, not just music, not just art. We are creating reality itself. This is the truth. Turn your gospel now to page 175 as we get through this last overstanding, and this is going to conclude our reading for the day. It's a short one because the truth is usually short. So we're at perform truth, and this is the 11th performance. Don't just seek to know the truth, seek to perform the truth. Be as genuine and as real as you can. While everyone else performs behind their variety of masks, what a prophecy that was. Anyway, while everyone else performs behind their variety of and you know what else too? The future is going to read that to say, I'm speaking here poetically. Okay, I'm speaking poetically, hiding behind the mask, which is really a full facial mask. But now world history has changed. This is how you read your Bible. This is exactly how the Bible is to be read. When they was writing it, they was writing in the language and the idioms of their time and their culture. And times have changed. 2,000 years, the words mean different things now, and we're seeing things differently that didn't even happen. It wasn't even written, wasn't even the intent, but now we looking at it that way. That's crazy. But here it is right here. Here it is right here. Let me hit you with it one more time. While everyone else performs behind their variety of masks and phony personalities, you must be the truth in such illusionary and fake circles. Now that's what Peter, we was against mask wearing back in the world. This is so crazy. crazy. And we're not against mask wearing. Wear your goddamn mask when you're in the public and practice social distancing. But at the point here, you can clearly see in the lesson how things are going to look 100 years from now. Or maybe not, because I'm explaining it now. Maybe if you can get to this lesson, somebody, we will, whatever. But the point is that take a look at how world history changed. That's just a lesson within a lesson that I needed to point that out. Wow, such fake and illusionary circles, illusionary and fake circles. This is what it means to keep it real. It means to be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. Don't hide behind falsities and illusions. Such a performance leads to nowhere. Knowing truth is to know what is real. Performing truth is to manifest or actualize what is real. But what is real as it pertains to truth? What, excuse me, what we know to be real and what we know, excuse me, I swallowed this, I went down the wrong pipe. Excuse me. What we know to be real and what is real are two different things. Truth is the ultimate reality of reality itself. This is, I'm speaking in spiritual terms now. This is not the Oxford English Dictionary's literal term. This is the spiritual term. This is what truth really is. Truth is the ultimate reality of reality itself. It is the real reality of reality. It is the whole. It is what it is. To perform truth means that what we believe to be real corresponds with what is actually real. That's the truth. What you believe to be real corresponds with what is actually real. Not just because somebody agrees with you or is loyal to you, this kind of thing. That's the Oxford English Dictionary definition of truth. Get that. Imagine that. This is the real definition of truth right here. I'm going to read two again. What we know to be real and what is real are two different things. Truth is the ultimate reality of reality itself. It is the real reality of reality. It is the whole. It is what it is. To perform truth means that what we believe to be real corresponds with what is actually real. Most people experience all kinds of things in their lives, and their experiences are indeed real to them. But in truth, their experiences are not real at all. Experiences in material reality are more the opinions of the observer than that of actual truth. Hold on, let me make sure I got this right. I'm turning the page. I'm on page 176 now, at the top of the page at paragraph 4. Yes, and this is G. Simone on this one as well. Yes, your experiences are true. True. Yes, your experiences are true. They are the reality you experience. However, they may not be the truth, the reality you truly have. These are the acronyms, and Simone was cold with it on this one. Cold with this is the truth. Yes, your experiences are true. And true is the reality you experience. That's true. The reality you experience is true. True. It is true. But it's not the reality you truly have. That's the truth. Can you hear me right now? Can you understand what I'm saying? There is the experience that you are having, and then there is experience itself. Yes, your experiences are true. They are the reality experience. However, they may not be the truth, the reality you truly have. The material world is true, but the spiritual realm, which projects the material world into existence, is the truth. It may be true that you are in prison, but the truth is that prison was first inside of you. Deal with the truth, and you shall be free. Know this: there is reality, and then there is your perception of that reality. That's the underlining lesson here. Okay, and I think 5, we're going to highlight 5, but let me read it through one time. Know this: there is reality, and then there is your perception of that reality. Reality is the truth, but your perception of that reality is a fact. It is true for you. In the material world, what is called truth is actually an agreement as to what is real. These are called facts. And so many people rely upon the facts of life as opposed to the reality of life. Let's go ahead and get the whole 5. Let's go ahead and highlight the whole paragraph of paragraph 5 of performed truth. I'll read it to you one more time. And I'm also going to pull up the definition of fact on the Oxford English Dictionary, because this is an interesting look as well. Most people believe that facts are, written documentation. These are the facts. Show me the facts on paper, But when you really look up the word fact, which is what I'm doing right now, when you really bring the word fact up, here's the actual definition of the word fact. Most people, they say, these are the facts. The actual definition of the word fact, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, is a thing done or performed. And they use the word specifically: performed, done, something done or performed. In neutral sense, a fact is an action, deed, a deed, a course of conduct. Occasionally, effect. A fact is an effect, something that happened. It is action in general, deeds, as opposed to words. That's the original definition of fact. Hold on one second. Yes.
Thank you.
Test it before. Deeds as opposed to words. Deeds as opposed to words. And I'm going to say it again. Deeds, actions, effects, as opposed to words. This is in the dictionary right here. I'm pointing right to the Oxford English Dictionary. It says, quote, deeds as opposed to words. What is a fact? Something done. And that's where eventually you get truth is connected to facts. What is a fact? Something that happened. It was done. Facts are not in books. I know that might be shocking to some. There's no facts in a book. All the facts are in experiences. Look outside your window. Those are facts. It is a fact that. So realize that words are not facts, and facts can never be in words. Facts are actions. They are deeds, at least according to English language, which is the language we're speaking. So this is a fact. I just wanted to point that out before we go further. Okay, actions as opposed to deeds. Now let me read 5 again in light of this. Know this: there is reality, And then there is your perception of that reality. Reality is the truth, but your perception of that reality is a fact. How you act, your perception of that reality is a fact. It is true for you. In the material world, what is called truth is actually an agreement as to what is real. These are called facts. And so many people rely upon the facts of life as opposed to the reality of life. Moving on. Perform truth, for truth is the whole, while lies are its fragments. That's what a lie is, the fragmentation of the truth. Falsity is the fragmentation of the truth. Falsity takes a fragment of the truth and treats it as if it is the truth itself. Do not be led by falsities, illusions, and lies. Seek truth. Speak truth. Perform truth. Be a whole person as often as you can. Be mindful of how many times you fragment and hide yourself for the sake of others. Practice being whole and transparent. Truth is also freedom from the bondage of ignorance. Truth is the revelation of what already exists but just could not be comprehended or seen before. Truth is the cause of awareness or awareness. Truth is happening right now as you read this gospel. For truth is the ultimate gospel, but no gospel is the ultimate truth. Woo! Read that again. Truth is the ultimate gospel, but no gospel is the ultimate truth. Truth cannot be actually written down. In reality, truth cannot even be described in words. And that's literally, I'm reading spiritually and philosophically right now, but it also matches the literal with the Oxford English Dictionary. Truth cannot be written in words. It is an activity. It is a deed. It is something you do. All words, numbers, shapes, and letters are symbols which assist us in understanding the realm in which truth exists. I'll say that again. All words, numbers, shapes, and letters are symbols which assist us in understanding the realm in which real truth exists. Words, numbers, shapes, and letters, even dancing, rapping, and singing are all translations of what is really the truth. Therefore, we must see
okay, so that stick to the end thing is gonna make a whole lot of sense in a hot minute. No, apparently there's a plug or a socket in here that doesn't really work, and we had it plugged in, or our camera's plugged in there, and it went off because it's not the truth. Straight up and down. Would you like to
Yes,
continue?
sir.
Watch your kids.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we have returned, and thus is the truth. And you can see we're teaching in real time. That was the truth. That's it. I think, what did you say? The plug
Was
not fully
right? It wasn't real.
It wasn't real. The plug wasn't real. That's a fake plug.
Right.
We plugged up to a fake plug, y'all. It wasn't the truth. And so this thing cut off.
And so it became the reality that we experienced.
Oh, but it wasn't the reality we truly had.
Right.
It was the reality we experienced with a fake plug over here. Fake energy. But now we plugged into a real us. You take this. We plugged into a real, and you know what's so funny? I only got one line left, y'all, and that's it. And those that are reading the gospel with us, you know, we're right here at the end. Let me just read it to you real quick. It says, "And we must seek truth beyond our physical senses. These tools, symbols, and senses. These tools, symbols, and senses. These are the tools. Fragment the truth so that we may create an ordered world out of the truth that is a chaotic oneness. Seek truth, be truthful, and perform your truth." That's the conclusion of that particular lesson.
I'm sorry, can you read it, the whole paragraph one more time? They're saying that the last thing that they heard you say was therefore.
Oh, that was crazy. So then, you know what? Let's start. Let me go all the way back up to 7 real quick. Let me go up to 7 and bring you down. So I'm starting at paragraph 7 now. Truth is, and I'm starting at 7 because this is where the another lesson in truth begins. We talked about truth, meaning the reality you truly have versus the reality you experience, this kind of thing. Now, truth is coming into it. This is another look at the truth. Truth is also freedom from the bondage of ignorance. Truth is the revelation of what already exists, but just could not be comprehended or seen before. Truth is the cause of awareness or awareness. Truth is happening right now as you read this gospel. And that's the truth. Truth is happening right now as you read this gospel. For truth is the ultimate gospel, but no gospel is the ultimate truth. And I said that twice last time. Let me say it twice again. For truth is the ultimate gospel, but no gospel is the ultimate truth. Take that in. Truth cannot be actually written down. And like I said before, that coincides with the Oxford English Dictionary as well, although I'm reading spiritual document and we're taking it in philosophically. We're looking for truth right here. But it still coincides with what the Oxford is saying. Truth cannot be actually written down. In reality, truth cannot even be described in words. And that's also literal. All words, numbers, shapes, and letters are symbols, which assist us in understanding the realm in which truth exists. Words, numbers, shapes, and letters, even dancing, rapping, and singing are all translations of what is really the truth. Therefore, we must seek truth beyond the material world and its symbols. We must seek truth beyond our physical senses. These tools, symbols, words, letters, numbers, and our senses, fragment the truth so that we may create an ordered world out of the truth that is a chaotic oneness. Like everything's going on all at once. But in order for us to make some sense, some order out of the world and out of the reality in which we truly have, we use symbols and things to tone down reality so that we can make sense of the world we want to create for ourselves. So seek truth, be truthful, and perform your truth. Truth is not just loyalty to something. We respect loyalty, we respect fidelity, we respect faith. But we know that truth is a little more than whether you're loyal to a person or if a person is loyal to you. That's gang mentality. That's something else. That's not truth. The truth is happening right now. And to read that right now truth is overstanding. That's why we read these two together. The truth is happening now. To read now is to have an overstanding of what's going on. This is why those of us that walk the spiritual path, we also read the signs and wonders. It's a saying that says, we live by the fortune cookie. It's like you break the fortune cookie, your whole life is being determined by what this thing is going to say. But some of us live like this. And there are pros and cons to that. But what do you give yourself over to? I give myself over to hip hop. I give myself over to the vision of hip hop as a divinely inspired culture of peace and prosperity. I give myself over to the faith that hip hop will have its own region, its own land, its own little section within a city even, called Little Hip Hop, Little Hip Hopia. I have that vision. I have that faith. Join me on that faith. See it. See it. Because the more we see it together, the faster it's going to come, even from the Western perspective. If we all agree with one another, we create the reality we want and we want our children to live through. That's this lesson this week, y'all. I want to thank y'all for listening, to me at least. And this is this whole week has just been phenomenal. Maybe next week I'll be able to reveal more, but this week has been phenomenal. Seek overstanding and seek truth. They go together. Seek overstanding and seek truth. Be able to endure, stand next to, get through. That's what it means to overstand. Well, that's part of what it means to overstand. We read also about comprehending your knowledge, not just having knowledge, but did you experience whatever you read, That's what this is. That's what this is. So thank you. And of course, before we go, is there anything, someone you want to add to the end of this?
Yeah, I'll come on real quick.
No doubt. I'm going to get ready and prepared to go now to the Graffiti Museum in Miami, Florida. We're going to run over there right now. And I am KRS-ONE. This is the Temple of Hip Hop. And Minister Sun One is going to take us out as usual with the summary. Peace, y'all.
Peace and much love, hip hoppers. As TEACHA has alluded to, this week has been very, very dope. I keep calling it crazy too, because it is crazy. But no, this is what it is. The gospel is real. Is really all I came on here to tell you. because and you have to go through it. You have to have, or you have to experience it. Like this, or especially perform overstanding in reference to the gospel of hip hop. This book has a lot of things that are to be experienced, and thus has been my experience with it, is that you can experience it. Whereas I know a lot of other studies or whatever, all you can technically do is read about it. When no, this is in real time. Teacher kept making me think of yesterday's knowledge is not today's knowledge. In a sense of knowledge is in, or this type of knowledge, or spiritual knowledge, happens in real time, and that you technically shouldn't have to look back at somebody else's experience and essentially ignore the truth that you're having, is really technically what it comes down to. It's like to know that your trip to the grocery store or to the corner store is actually a spiritual occurrence, and that is what reality is. But as teacher said, no, at times you kind of turn that off and say, no, my walk to this corner store is not a spiritual experience. This, that, and the third. Tell that to somebody who walked out of that corner store with $1 million lottery ticket. They were like, everything I did with her, it was God that helped in all this. But and this is where it's messed up, because does it have to be that in order for you to be able to see that it's a spiritual experience? This whole entire journey of life is a spiritual experience that technically you're having with God, in God, and this is what it is. And so when teacher says we're really creating reality, or with our words, with our thoughts, with our beings, what we want, I know it may sound like selfish, like some people may look at that and be like, come on, y'all can't say that everything is revolving around you. But it's not that it's revolving around us. It's more revolving around who we represent and what we're with. And that, no, we've made a exact commitment to God. Everything teacher said, this is what I stand on right here. This is what we're seeing. This is what is coming for us. It's very real. And you may really want to just pay attention. Or that's what a lot of this has to do with, your awareness, your attention to detail of actual reality, which is where you'll find the truth and realize, right, this is what I need. I don't need nothing else. Or it's very plain and simple in this gospel of hip hop. As teacher was reading, I kept feeling myself reading it the first time, and how, no, it is for certain people like an instant learning. It's instant. The whole the reality you experience versus the reality you truly have, that shit was instant, at least for me. And thus gave me the symbols to recognize as I went through time. And it's like, oh right, once you learn it like that, and then you can start moving and getting through. You have the words for the experiences of the overstandings that you're actually having, and then they become more and they increase depending on your character, because God is engaging you for sure. So it's very hardcore spiritual. uh, and so I'll leave it at that because it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, but these two specifically together, um, you can definitely advance yourself. And again, I'll just say, if you are still doubting, you really may want to figure that out, because this is intelligence moving,
and doubting meaning that, surfacely, of course, yeah, doubting, maybe your affiliation with the temple of hip hop or whatever it is, but doubting yourself. That's the key right there. Doubt, if you're still in doubt of what you can do, and we're laying the knowledge out. And I'm telling you right now, there's no school for KRS-ONE. I didn't go to school and was told I was KRS-ONE. I got a degree. I said, this is now you KRS-ONE. Somebody told me. So I went to school and then somebody told me, you now KRS-ONE. Nah, and it ain't going to be that here. I'm not going to tell you who you are, at the end of the day. Now, we are handing out citizenship certificates. That is coming in 2022. Citizenship certificates, so that we all know who we are, okay? But who are you? The talents you have, the script writing, your book writing, your rhyme writing, the dances you do, the artwork you put forward, whatever your skill is, do you really believe in the divinity of it and that you're going to be successful at it? Or are you waiting for somebody to tell you you're successful at it and validate you and push you along and so on? That's not what these lessons are about. This is the knowledge of kings. This is the knowledge of leaders, the knowledge of the gods. If you're not one of those people, turn this off right now and go about your business, because this is not, you're wasting your time. Or maybe you're not. Maybe just looking at me rant like this is entertainment for you. So fine, be entertained. We do this for a living. But if you can reach past the entertainment, if you can look at hip hop beyond entertainment, you'll notice that we're dropping the jewels of life upon you. Please take this seriously and apply it to yourself so that you can experience the joy that we are experiencing right now.
See, listen, the time is now. if you didn't think it was before, the time is now. Write the book.
Finish the album.
Start the documentary.
Get married.
Right, all the above.
Have a baby.
That's right.
Get a divorce.
Whatever it is that you need to do, now is the exact time to get to it. So again, of course, we will be back next Sunday. Thank you all for staying to the end, those who did. And
those who overstood.
Oh yeah. Listen, it was said in the beginning. So again, of course, we'll be right back next Sunday at 12 o'clock. Peace and much love to you all. Have a wonderful week. And there it is.